The demand is the amount of some good or service consumers are willing to purchase at each price. When economists talk about supply, they mean the amount of some good or service a producer is willing to supply at each price. The equilibrium occurs where the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied. Economists use the term demand as the amount of some good or service consumers are willing and able to purchase at each price. What a buyer pays for a unit of the specific good or service is called price. The total number of units that consumers would purchase at that price is called the quantity demanded. A rise in price of a good or service almost always decreases the quantity demanded of that good or service. Economists call this inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded the law of demand. Thus, prices and quantity demanded are inversely related in a demand curve. Consider a demand curve for gasoline. The demand schedule shows that as price rises, quantity demanded decreases, and vice versa. We graph these points, and the line connecting them is the demand curve, D. The downward slope of the demand curve again illustrates the law of demand, the inverse relationship between prices and quantity demanded. When economists talk about supply, they mean the amount of some good or service a producer is willing to supply at each price. Price is what the producer receives for selling one unit of a good or service. A rise in price almost always leads to an increase in the quantity supplied of that good or service, while a fall in price will decrease the quantity supplied. Economists call this positive relationship between price and quantity supplied, the law of supply. A supply curve is a graphic illustration of the relationship between price, shown on the vertical axis, and quantity, shown on the horizontal axis. A supply curve for gasoline. The supply schedule is the table that shows quantity supplied of gasoline at each price. As price rises, quantity supplied also increases, and vice versa. The supply curve, S, is created by graphing the points from the supply schedule and then connecting them. The upward slope of the supply curve illustrates the law of supply, that a higher price leads to a higher quantity supplied, and vice versa. At equilibrium, quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. The equilibrium price where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. Economists call this common quantity the equilibrium quantity.